You can get this product and so much more at www.safariltd.com. And don't forget to use the coupon code SpinoDude to save 15% on your next order and show your support for the channel. Greetings, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 2012 Safari Ltd Ceratosaurus. We got this in our latest batch for #HawaiiSafari from Safari Ltd. So as always, a big thank you to Safari for sponsoring this video, and onward with the review. So this Ceratosaurus is interesting. It's always intrigued me. I've never really been too into it, and getting it in hand, I can say that it doesn't really impress me too much. It's pretty much what I expected this figure to be. It is a tad bit smaller than I was expecting. This one actually came out alongside the Acrocanthosaurus, which I do not have that one anymore. I reviewed that one many years ago when I started this channel, but I expected it to be right around the same size, and it is, but it's a little bit smaller, so that's kind of nice because this figure it's detailed, but it's not too detailed. Like if we take a look at some of the sculpt work on it here, the scalation is nice, but it all feels very kind of uniform and samey throughout the sculpt, and there isn't really any variation going on with the detail. The osteoderms running down the back are a nice addition, but really nothing too special. It all feels very samey, like I said. And I think I don't really have an inherent problem with the actual scalation detail. It's just the fact that the coloration across the whole body, there's no variation to it. There's no interesting patterns. It's just straight brown. And I like the color and concept overall, but I feel like it could have used something different, maybe like a dark brown over the top, or some dark brown little stripes or spots or something, just to break it up a little bit, because this sort of lightish tannish brown really seems to get old after a bit for me. The two biggest glaring issues with the sculpt for me are either the head or the feet, and the feet definitely take the cake. They are substantially too large for the scale that this figure was produced at. And of course that helps with stability, but it does look like it has massive clown feet with these huge splayed toes, and that is unfortunate for the overall presentation of this figure. If you manage to hide the feet, it actually looks pretty decent overall, but those feet are just very distracting to me overall. The hands look pretty nice, and they're not pronated, they're clapping hands, which is good. The overall proportions of the rest of the body are pretty decent, and judging by the overall thickness of particularly the head, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Safari was intending to replicate Ceratosaurus dentosulcatus rather than Nesicornis, but the skull in general is still way too tall, especially right in that divot in the sort of corner of the mouth. There should really be more of a substantial dip in there where the head really thins out, both on the top and the bottom of the top jaw. I do really like that they gave the nasal crests a dark brown color, and the yellow eye was a nice choice against that brown. I also really like that they brought in that ruby red color going down the bottom jaw and into the throat and the chest area. Breaks up the color scheme a little bit. Maybe it would have looked cool actually if they carried that all the way down to the tail, but maybe not actually. I kind of like how they broke it up with the cream the more I'm looking at it here, but I just feel like some more striping across the back, or just another gradient with a darker brown, would have really added a lot to the figure overall. But going back to the head, it is unfortunately substantially shrink wrapped, and this figure is almost 10 years old, so that's to be expected from some older Safari figures. The teeth are not too sloppily painted. There's a bit of white on the right side of its face that managed to bleed up onto the lips, but really not too bad overall. The fleshy bits in the corner of the mouth are done in a pink color. There is some detail on the inside of the mouth, but not too much. But yeah, I really think that covers my overall thoughts on this one as a whole. I mean, I didn't really address the posture too much, but not too much to talk about. It's not too interesting. The big feet just help it stand, and I do kind of like how the head is turning to the left and the tail is swishing to the right. It's interesting enough, but it's a very basic pose. So overall, I have to say that Ceratosaurus is a great candidate for Safari to remake at some point in the near future. There aren't many good figures of it out on the market. This is one of the more decent ones, actually, and it's still just not too great in my opinion. It could be a lot worse, of course, but in the end, it just comes out to be a very basic and kind of bland theropod figure with a lot of glaring issues. But anyway, in case you're wondering how large this figure is, from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, we are looking at right around 7 inches long, which is about 19 centimeters, and in terms of the height at the highest point, which is the top of the head, we are looking at about 3.5 inches, which is right around 8 centimeters. And for a quick comparison, we're going to bring out our consistent size comparison of Bernie the Gator that we use for all our Safari reviews, and then we're going to bring out the 2019 Safari Ltd Allosaurus. These two Jurassic theropods met with each other in the Morrison Formation of the United States, and overall, I think they scale with each other pretty well, but you can see that even though the Ceratosaurus is a good chunk smaller than the Allosaurus overall, its feet are actually the tiniest bit larger than on the Allosaurus, and the Allosaurus stands perfectly fine. So, like, these figures came 7 years apart from each other, and you can really see how Safari has gotten better over the years with stabilizing their figures in really interesting and dynamic poses without oversizing the feet. And there are a few glaring exceptions in recent years, but they've gotten consistent without having to rely on that. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this review of the Safari Ltd 2012 Ceratosaurus. Overall, I think this is just an okay figure. It's really just kind of bland, like I said, and nothing to get excited about. But if you'd like to get this one for yourself, make sure to use the coupon code SpinoDude at checkout on SafariLtd.com to save 15% on your next order and to show your support for the channel. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in my next video. So take care, and bye-bye.